Hello there, my name's Annette with Sunbeam Fabric Art. Welcome to my channel. For today's layer cake project, what I did was evaluate 2 or 3 of my layer cakes. I wanted equal numbers, as much as possible, of lights and darks. I really liked these 3 layer cakes in particular for this project, but I did go through and count the number of lights to make sure it was mostly equal. After going all the way through, I decided that this particular Maywood Studios layer cake was the one I wanted to use for this project. I sorted out the lights and the darks, and this layer cake had 42 pieces, but I wanted to make 2 smaller quilts measuring 4 by 6, so I needed a total of 48 layer cakes. I was able to pull 6 10-inch squares from my stash, and that got me to the 48 that I needed to make 2 projects. I'm going to cut all my light and dark pairs. You can see I've paired up my lights and darks, so I have them already paired up. I'm going to be cutting the curve, and then with this part of the template, I'm going to be cutting on that 9.5-inch line. So I flipped the whole mat around, and then I lined up the left and the bottom of this fabric with the 9.5-inch line on that ruler template. When I stitch these back together, I'll be pairing up the light with the dark and the dark with the light. I'll be making a crease in the middle of each part, and then I'll put a pin in that when I put those right sides together. As I cut these apart, I am separating them into a light stack and a dark stack. So the big center part is what I'm looking at to sort these. I decided I was going to make 2 smaller quilts rather than 1 large, but when you look at the 2 quilts together at the end, it would have been super easy just to put these 2 small quilts together into 1 quilt, and that would have looked cool as well if you wanted something a little bit bigger. With my stack all ready to go, I am putting a crease in the center of the center part of my template, and then a crease in the outer part of this drunkard's path. Next, I put these 2 pieces right sides together, and I clipped or I pinned in place. If you use this template properly, the end pieces should line up exactly. In my case, that didn't always happen. There were a few that I was a little bit off on. I sewed very, very slowly around this curve, just tilting the fabric to get it to line up and not pulling, just gently moving it to the right or left side, whichever one I was moving, just to make sure those pieces lined up correctly. The second half always seemed to be easier than the first half, but the end did not always match up like I thought it should have. Any problems with these 2 parts matching up together, I think were cutting errors on my part. Next time I use this template, I'm going to use a smaller rotary cutter, or I will just draw a chalk line and cut with scissors to get the cut precise. Now, with this first set where the larger piece is the light piece, I'm keeping that light piece on the top and the darker piece on the bottom as I sew these two together. When I got to the second part where the larger piece was the dark, I flipped that and had that outside lighter piece on top, and to me, that worked better. You will have to, if you're going to use this template or even use a plate and cut out a curve, try it a few different ways and see what works best for you. Everybody's brain works a little bit differently. For me, having that big part on the bottom worked better. Well, the hard part is done. They are all stitched together. The easy part is the pressing. It is surprisingly easy to press these curves. The first time I ever tried to make a curve like this, I couldn't believe how easy it came out, how easy it was to press. The stitching is a little mind-bending, a little mind-boggling from time to time, but when it comes time to press it, it just presses so nicely. Now I'm purposely showing you the absolute worst match of this whole batch because that is what's going to determine the size of my finished blocks. This one is way off, and that's, like I said, I'm pretty sure that's due to my cutting with a 40-inch or 40-millimeter blade instead of using a smaller, say 28-millimeter blade. This wonkiest piece of all made me decide to cut them all to a 9-inch square. So I'm going to be trimming all these blocks to 9 inches. Even though some of my blocks came out a little wonky, I want them all to be 9 inches, but there is a way to cut these so that I make sure all my curves are going to line up with other curves. What I am doing is I am lining up the lines on my ruler so it's 1 inch from where I'm going to cut to the edge of my circle. So you can see that top, I've got 1 inch, and that 1 inch line is hitting right on the top of the curve, and on the right hand, that 1 inch is hitting right on the curve as well on that right side. So that means all of these curves, when I match these up with other curve blocks, as long as I have that 1 inch consistent, my blocks are all going to line up. Another bonus for using this template is that there really isn't too much waste. I am laying out my 2 quilts here. One, I wanted the centers, the circles, to be not the focus. So you can see the places where the circles come together are not the main part of the quilt on that first one. And then the opposite was done on this layout where the circles are the main focus. I also grabbed some 2.5-inch strips of this green fabric from my stash, and I'm going to be using that for a border for each of these 2 small quilts. I started with quilt number 1, which is the darker part making the circle. And since I cut these so that there is 1 inch from the seam of the circle to the edge of the fabric, these were pretty easy to line up without even clipping. I just chain pieced first the ones with the darker circles and next the ones with the lighter circles. When I was done with that first chain, I broke the chains and then I started sewing pairs together. And since these quilts are only going to be 4 by 6, they're going to be very small, baby sizes. It was pretty easy to keep my rows of 4 straight. Just clipping these together on the seams between blocks. And I did occasionally put a clip or a pin in to make sure that those 1-inch seams between the circle and the outside did stay where I wanted them to stay. Here's a look at those first 2 rows joined together, and you can see it's pretty easy to get these seams lined up straight just because of the way I cut them. We'll speed along here and get these 2 quilt tops finished up. I did decide to use a light cream 2.5-inch strip for an inner border, and then that darker green that I had picked out for an outer border. So I spent some time putting strips together so I'd have enough. I'm adding this inner border first, and I'm just going around the quilt side by side, and I'm cutting that off when I get to the end and starting a new side, and I'm going to trim and press those corners later. Once all these little details were done, it was time to take a look at these 2 quilts side by side. Now, as you can see here, wouldn't it be cool to join these 2 separate quilt tops together into one unit with the circles on one side and the opposite circles on the other side? I think it looks so cool. This is definitely a reason for me to make this again, but for my purposes today, I have 2 finished baby quilt tops. I invite you to subscribe to my channel and click that little bell icon if you would like to get notified when I post new videos. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you back again real soon.